Hey guys, SSF here with a brand new game. Well, brand new in the sense that we're not doing Sonic 3 and Knuckles or Rock and Roll Racing anymore. I mean, I'm still getting over that after those playthroughs have been kind of in the process of being made for, I think, 2 years now. But it's high time to finally move on to some new games. And, well, it is now time for Plague Inc. Evolved. And it's a game that isn't it's not entirely new. It came out a couple years or so ago, and there's also a mobile version. But yeah, it's a game that you have probably seen already on my channel, with the Sonic Fever custom scenario. Which, if you're curious about where it is, it's right. You go in here. But this time, we're not doing custom scenarios, at least not for now. Eventually, later on, I'll probably get to them, but for now, it is going to be something I think has been very underestimated. This is a game that I really do love, and it's roguelike, but not entirely roguelike. There's only so much. It's a mix between luck and skill, in a way, and I will explain why in a bit. But we're playing the main game this time. And as the game obviously says, it's the core game, can you infect the world? So basically, that's what you're doing. Is you're pretty much trying to make humanity extinct. And you make humanity extinct by infecting everyone with a plague and then killing them. No, not even kidding. That is the premise of this game. So, the thing is, though, is that, well, I'll get to that when we get to that, but it's not as easy as it sounds. The premise may be simple, but trust me, it's not. And there's a lot of plagues you can do. There's a lot of various pestilences you can go with. You start out with bacteria, and then you unlock more with each as you beat each and every one of them. You'll get the virus, the virus is alright, but the fungus can be difficult. The Neurax worm is a doozy. That's one of my favorites. The parasite is meh. The prion, also meh. And the coronavirus is my #1 favorite out of the bunch. And oh boy, is it a doozy. Even more of a doozy than the worm. So, the nanovirus and the bioweapon, also not really. They're alright as well. The simian flu is another doozy. Like all the very special ones, the worm, the coronavirus, and the simian flu. All three of these are probably the top favorites of mine. And because they're very unique in their own way. But I'm going to start out with the bacteria because it's the best way of really getting it's the best way of really getting things off the getting things up and going. But so you're basically wondering what's this all about? Well, these are genes you can add. You don't get these at the very start. Like, you unlock all of this stuff. I've already 100%ed the game, except getting a custom scenario creation achievement. I haven't really done that yet, but otherwise I have 100% of the game. I've unlocked everything. But you do get these genes codes that you'll unlock later on as you beat the game and achieve certain objectives and all that. And trust me when I say this, these are really going to help you out. You are not going to beat this game 100% without these. And I highly recommend you pay attention to what they explain. Like, for example, you get bonus DNA at the beginning. I'll explain exactly the premise of all this stuff, like, environments and all this, when we actually get into the game, but you are going to need these. So I highly suggest unlocking as many as you can. Now note that although some of these pestilences have actually the same, genes within them, like, you'll get these 5 more likely with various others. A few of them, most namely the unique ones that I mentioned earlier, three, don't have the same. They have the bottom one, like down here, will be genes specifically tailored to that plague. But anyway, let's just get to the actual game now. Now there is a difficulty too. Casual, which is what I would recommend normal to start, because you're not going to get anywhere with casual. Like casual, it's nice, but I think normal is a good balanced way of getting started. You know, getting up and running with the game and getting used to everything. Brutal, it's something I would probably recommend if you've played the game for a little bit and you know the ins and outs of it and you've had enough trial and error, because this game has a lot of trial and error. But Brutal's probably that point where you feel like you've gotten used to the ropes, you're pretty much know what to do, what to expect. Mega Brutal's when you have pretty much, you know what is going to happen, you know tricks, all the tips and tricks to this, you've pretty much gotten things down pat, you know how everything operates and all that. And that is where you really are going to have the toughest time, is Mega Brutal. But I think I'm going to do... Let's see here. I want to go normal, but I think I'm going to make things interesting and go with Brutal. I think Brutal is more than likely... Well... Actually, now that I think about it... Now that I think about it, I'd say that normal is actually more of a realistic difficulty compared to the actual modern world we live in, but Brutal would make things interesting. But let's start on normal. By the way, you can unlock cheats as well. As you can see, you can unlock stuff for this too. Obviously, not going to use them. There's one. The game isn't complete yet, because they're still adding in mutations and all. And mutations are basically that's the fancy way of saying updates for this game. But these are cheats you can add when you just want to screw around with the game. That's the one thing I love about this game. When games do that, where they make it so you can just do debug mode or something, it's beautiful. You have the immune strain, hidden strain, unlimited strain, turbo strain, shuffle strain, lucky dip strain, and of course, like I said, the unknown one. But you have a lot going for you that you can use at your disposal. But I will say this much: the main game is going to be the part we're going to get into. Now, I know I haven't really said anything about that yet, but trust me when I say it, it is quite a doozy. So here's actually what you have to do. You must evolve and spread across the world, wiping out all the humans in the ultimate plague. However, they are going to fight back. Excuse me, they are going to fight back as much as they can when they catch on. You have to select the country to begin the plague, which is pretty simple. I recommend starting in a country that has a wide population. For example, China has a huge population. You know, China or India are both what I would recommend. Apparently I'm going with India. That was a misclick. It starts out very soft. By the way, you can give a custom name to your virus plague thing. I don't know why I named it after me for some reason. I don't know why. But as you can see, it says weak but used to hot temperatures and must evolve using DNA points to infect more people. Basically what it's telling you is that your virus is starting out primitive and it's used to hot temperatures because you put it in an area. Okay, basically the geology and location of a country you start in will be what your virus or whatever adapts to. For example, I started in India, which is a hot country. It's a hot country. It has ports, but it's also rural and humid. And you have to keep these in mind because that will actually affect how it spreads. So you have to keep in mind a lot of things. The country you started in, stuff like that. You can also change up the speed too. The speed of the game, if you so wish, which is really nice if you feel like things are going too slow.